Hey, hello guys, welcome back to today's video of Career Advice. So what we have in our menu today, I'm just joking, we are not a restaurant so we don't have anything in our menu today, rather we have some interesting videos in our lecture class today. So what we are going to learn about today is, it's about return processing. It's a complete structure, how the returns are filed, how the returns are processed from the banks to utility companies and utilities to banks. The whole process about it and the practical around it, how you will configure it in SPRO, etc., etc. So we will go through all of that. So do watch till the end with forward and backward so that you will have complete understanding of return processing and its structure. So without wasting time, so please do like, subscribe, share, and keep commenting us. Let's start the class. Let's start. Thank you.
So today's topic is return processing. So we understand the incoming, how the incoming is happening, how the processes are happening. Now, once the incoming is coming, like incoming payments are coming by any mode, like check, cash, or bank transfer, um, or DD, or online. Once they are coming, still we have the validation processes. The validation processes, whether they are coming correctly, they are not coming correctly. Now we understand if the validation processes are passed, then it should be clear out of open items. But if the validation get failed, what will happen? So if the validation fail, then the return process actually activated. Okay, so the returns are mostly on the current processes. So whatever the amount need to be returned back to the bank, that need to be explained in detail. So if your organization have been notified its bank that it has been unable to collect a payment from the business partners means your customer. So because of many reasons, because of insufficient of funds, expiry of account, invalid account, and so on, fake account, anything can be possible. So the returns actually is a very common process when we do the validation. So returns occur if the financial institution is unable to complete a payment order. So payment order from whom? From the utility company. Now, who is clearing that? Bank. Now the bank has no validations, so they stop that and they create a return process. That means this return is come to the return process, come to the utility company. That means whatever the amount you closed against the payment, that need to be reopened. Okay, a return lot is a group of documents that were sent back by a house bank, that means the banking system, and settled with the same bank clearing account. So whatever is cleared, and that amount need to be reopened, because we cleared that by understanding that this is a valid transfer, but the bank is saying that no, it is not a valid transfer. But there are many stuff for the returning. Mostly, if we understand the component which enables all this process, it's mostly the debit memo or the collection procedure which is reactivate this return process. So returns are combined in return lots. The return lots can be created either manually using the return slips or automatically by copying the return data from the electronic bank account statement or file. So let it be something is not clear by the bank. So we need to create a return lot manually. The return process can be done only three stuff, like checks, debit memo, credit card collection. You can add online payments as well. So these days online payments also get returned back. Now these three things are there. You can understand no cash payment is there, no DD payment is there. So and no direct debits, because direct debit we have already the validation. Cash payment we need not require a lot of validation from the banking side. DD also we don't require a banking side validation. So those steps are there, not there. But yes, check. If check, if insufficient money is there, definitely check get bounced. Debit memos, these are kind of a letter where people are giving the money transfers. So debit memos also can get default. Mostly the industries do the debit memos. Credit card collection. So credit card collection, the debit card can be cleared immediately, whereas credit card took 30 days. So when we pay something in credit, it will take 30 days to clear. In sometimes it is also 45 days. So when after 30 days, it will go to the bank, and the bank is saying, oh, the credit card is already touched its limit, or the credit card is invalid, or the credit card don't have enough credit. So in that case, again, the return should be come. That means whatever the clearing happened against the credit card need to be reopened. So return typically results from the expiry or closed account. Why? Because all these information, whatever we get from the banking system, that is after the payment, after the clearing. Okay. Insufficient fund in an account, false account, stop payment, or uh, means some check is not correct, like somebody mistakenly put some different signature, some different name. So in that case, these are bounced or not valid. Okay, so then return process will happen. So what is the return processing structure? Now, uh, first, the returns are coming from the bank. So you can see this house is the banking system. So all these returns come from the bank. So once the return will come to the our side, to the utility company, it first to canceling the clearance. Whatever the returns we are getting as a statement, we cancel the clearing. And that means the open items get reopen. Then because of the cancellation, because of this check bounce or invalidation, the bank will put a charge that called the bank charges. The utility company also put a charge because it didn't get any extra amounts. There will be charges. So bank charges, which charges? This stuff will be done. Now, we need to understand why the return happened, why the payment is not processed from bank. So if we understand, we need to first check the contract account. So who is not able to clear that amount? The contract account. We then send them a letter. Okay, your amount is not clear. Can you clear it with some time, its duration? Okay. If it is through a agent or through a third party who is collecting the money, we inform to the agent, okay, look, from your end, we are expecting this much amount for this many contract accounts, but it is not clear at the bank side. And we set a lock till we'll get the amount from them. Okay, for that particular open item. Then we see the return history, how it is done. Now, it is very simple at this diagram level, but when we go to the debit credit side, you can see how it is happening. You can see we have a contract account FICA. In FICA, we have 100 and 100 is cleared, but the bank clearing is not done. That means that 100 is not clear. So at the contract account level, we got 100 and it is get cleared, right? But when it go to the bank expecting a clearing of 100, but it didn't get that money. So the bank is giving back. Okay, it will give back to us. Okay. So what it did, it again creates a 100 rupees against that 100 which is not cleared, and the revenue get blank and it's sent back that, okay, it is still open. There is no payment coming, incoming payment. Okay. So then we search the contract account for which contract account it is open at the bank level. And we find the contract account. So that means 100 is there. And the return clearing account amount is 110. Why 110? We add the charges, bank charges, which is 10 rupees, 10%. Okay. So that is how it is finally get cleared and back to the bank, back to the FI system, to the general ledger. Okay. Now that's a very simple one. Let it be. We consider the next bit complex one where the contract account 100 is there, banking clear, they go and they are expecting 100 against the amount, but it is not clear. So they put that again back to the bank at the end because they are not able to get. So the general ledger again reopened with 100. The general ledger reopened with 100. So where this 10 will go? The 10 will go to extra ledger, which would be charge ledger. If it is within that ledger, it is okay. Otherwise, it will go to the another ledger against the contract account. Okay. So finally, you can see the clearing account is having 110 and the returning amount is 100. So the bank is expecting 110 against the 100 now. So the bank reset itself. Now it is expecting for the same contract account 110 against the 100 which is not cleared. Okay. That means it puts some charges. So what we need to do? We have some activities we need to do. We understand the contract account. then we changes the item. If it has partial amount, we changes the item. We can give some deferral date. Okay, we say that, look, you are not able to pay by 1st of January, pay by 31st of January. We can give them 30 days. Setting a dunning block or payment block. Okay, if he is not paying within time, definitely the dunning process will be activated. Okay, if he is assuring, okay, we'll pay, then we put some lock on dunning, so the notice will not get generated. Okay, and the outgoing payment also you can stop. Like if there will be some collection going to happen for that person, like security collection or something, we put block there, or any outgoing for that contract account. We also can change their incoming payment methods. Like if his debit card is invalid, we can ask them pay by cash. If his debit card is not working, we can, a credit card is not working, we can explain them, you can use another credit card or debit card. So those stuff we can do. Other activities such as workflow connection, if there be any technical issues, we can go to the workflow connection. We go to the desk, we can understand from the clerk how they are collecting. Then we create the correspondence business partners and collect the possible records. Okay. Apart from that, the major impact of this returns would be on credit worthiness. Okay, the credit worthiness will be impacted by that customer, which is under business partner. Now, if from the history we understand the credit worthiness of that customer is good, then we can give them a expanded time. The deferral date mostly dependent on the credit worthiness. If we understand from the history is a regular defaulter, the amount is getting returned multiple times, then yes, we can give very less deferral period. So we have all the diagrams we saw. Okay, so in that we have first one, which debit entry from invoicing, which is not shown. Second, payment settlement by the bank collecting. Then incoming payments. Then incoming payments account statement for number 4, which is this one. Then this reverse clearing. Okay, reversible clearing. And then post expense from the bank charges. Post expenses is your 10 rupees. Pass on bank charges to business partner. We pass on the bank charges to business partner. So that's how it becomes 110. Okay. So we pass that to here, 10% of 100, 110. Okay. So 10 and 7. 7 is your, which is your 7 calculation is coming from. Okay, that's 7 only. That's 100. Actually, that was put as 7. 7 on top of what? Past bank charges and post expense bank charges. Okay, charges are from the utility company. So 10 plus 7, it becomes 17. So instead of 100, they need to pay now 117 rate and debit charges. So you have debit charges of 7, bank charges of 10, it become added and 17. The total now they have to pay 17. Okay, and obviously number 1 is debit entry, which was not clear. Then you'll get back 100. Okay, and this 17. Okay, so first whatever the 100 was there, it was cleared against 100, right? Because our clearing is already done. So this 100 get cancelled. We have now 100 and 17. So 117 is now open for this contract account. So to get this, we have to use all these 8 components, and it was mentioned 1, 2, like that. Okay, so banking returns region. So what are the regions they return back to us? So we already discussed multiple times what are the returns. The returns are mostly invalid of the checks, insufficient money. But when we return that and it come to the system, we need to define why it get returned. We need to put a cause that need to be configured in SAP system, why the returns happen. Okay, and that need to be done against the business partner and contract account, because the business partner is holding the credit worthiness, and that credit worthiness is impacted by this return. So this return region, okay, need to be understood first. So the return activities would be like any of this. Okay, so what is the return activities? Once we get that return, we need to first send a letter correspondence. Okay, then in that correspondence we can actually offer to the customer a deferral date, a dunning process, extra charges or delete charges methods. Like extra charges or delete charges methods means if we'll ask them, you are not able to pay, can we make it installments? Can we collect some money from your security? Can we get from your salary? Like that are different methods we can ask them. Charges, definitely how many charges we are applying on top of the fund. We need to give that correspondence. And charge master data. Okay, like bank charges, debit card charges, and default charges. So all those need to be configured, need to be activated. And finally, we need, if it is from an agent, we need to inform to the agent. Okay. But before that, we check the tolerance group at the contract account level. Is the clearing return, whatever is returned, is within our tolerance group? Like he's a very big customer who is paying, let it be 2 crore every month. But for some clearing happen and 250 rupees or 300 rupees returned. Okay. So is it within our tolerance group? If it is within our tolerance group, we'll not take any action. If not, we'll take the actions. Okay. Right. So next is our how the return charges will be applied. So return activities, pass the charges on, calculate the graduated charges, post charges satisfactorily, like whatever the configuration happen, how much charges you need to apply, that need to be done, and check the amount limit. So this limit is most important stuff. If you are applying some charges which is beyond limit, it is difficult to understand, difficult to recover actually. Now, finally, we need to determine the differences. Okay, so if we understand the whole processes, differences we understand for the tolerance group and for the other activities like write-off. Now, if we understand what would be the process for returns from the banking side, you can see they will create new lots and they will repost that, and then it will be come back again, post processing happen, and it will be completed at our end, at customer's end. So create, change, close, post, and post processing are the phases where we need to get all these returns to our account. In our side, at the SAP end, we also execute those processes applying the company code, document type, reconciliation, which reconciliation is not clear, or we can apply a new reconciliation because it will again create the new open items, currency, posting type, all those stuff. And yes, we need to enhance the return process. So it will allow you to give returns. So mostly these things are automated in SAP. So whenever the returns will become, it will be automatically display against the contract account on your display. Okay. So just we need to configure the enhancement of return processing. Okay. Okay. So what are the major stuff we need to configure are the technical flow. So there are technical flows, or you can say return header or lots. So there we need to just define the region which can be hard coded. So these are the tables, okay, which we need to get all the information. So these are the tables where we can put the region, why the returns are coming. Okay, return and return regions. Once all this table is completed, then the return process is done automatically. Okay. If not, then it will throw the errors. So we need to check these tables whether the configuration is done for them or not. And the configurations, again, we have a specific returns tab where you have all these details. Okay, whatever we understand, those things we need to configure here under the business transactions. So let's see whether we can configure. Okay, so configurations. Now we have to go to the financial new contract account receivable and payable. business transactions, and then return. Yeah. So here you can define the configuration, the return region, because when the money will come back, you have to put return regions. They put like no debit, no direct debit, no account. So these are the regions, no cashing, less amount like that. You can add on by using a new. So I can put as 1 for which bank you can put that you need to put there. Return types. Okay. So return types would be like incoming checks or payment card returns. So let's consider payment card returns. Application form, it would be the configuration for the application form, but it's mostly technical stuff. If they will give you some form, you can allocate that form to the return. So when it will go back to the next time to the customer, on the top of that application form, there will be a small text that your amount is returned because of this region. That's how it becomes the area. And you can put the name less. You can see that 11 is less amount to clear payment credit card. So if you want to put some charges on top of that, okay, so then return charges. Yeah, individual request. Yeah, so here you can see the return charges you can apply. Just new entries. Bank I didn't put, but for return region 11, I can put some currency and some limit. Maximum how much charge you can put. So I can put 1000 as maximum. Currency is INR. So aggregated credited charges. I'm not putting it, will take automatically. So that is the return charges I can put. Then let's go back and I have to choose one return. Okay. So amount limit is 1000 and it's in INR. If there will be folder, we can use these charges on top of them. Now, next target is automatic calculation, automatic charge determination. So new entry, automatic charge determination for return region 11. Obviously, when the returns happen, we need to determine which type of currency it is. So I will determine as INR. For INR return only it will be applied. And maximum I'll apply 1000. Okay, so that's how the whole return process is established. Now, this 11 is now the process where if there will be any activities which is because of less amount to clear, we need to apply this return region. And on top of that, we'll apply return charges and automatic charge determination on top of that. And the difference will be maximum 1000. Assigning the return regions to house bank. Now, which bank? I didn't configure any bank, but yes, there are different banks here you can see. If you have some bank with your company, now you can allocate that here. So our company name is ORTS something, ORT1, and we can allocate a bank. So bank I didn't configure anything, whatever existing, I'll allocate a bank with that. No, okay, I will allocate SBI. If it will take no results. Yeah, I'm trying to explain all the clarification of the returns. You have to configure that, why the returns are happening against the chart of account. So the chart of account we are using UNST here. Okay, so against that you can create the company, you can link the bank and the company code. And once the bank and company code is allocated, then clarification of the account you can put here, different any region. So let's try to create one. There is no bank against the ENST. We have to create a bank first. Okay. So here you can put some clarifications. Again, those things need to be configured as well. So they are already put a clarification account, which is a general ledger, and already it has a general ledger of 251. So I'll put 253 and save it. So whatever the okay, so whatever the payments going to be returned, it will go to this ledger. Against, I didn't allocate any bank, so it will allocate a bank from which bank. So mostly it is the common ledger for all the banks. Okay. Now, apart from that, we have the charge against the banking. So as I mentioned, the bank charges you can apply, the charges of expenses you can apply against the return types. So return type is like, our return type is 11. So against that, okay, that was for a different company. So let's consider external payment collector return type, which is third party. So how much you can apply for extra charges? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 is there. So you can apply those. The bank collection, it is already given as the ENST demo one, and apply some charges on top of that, whatever the amount will come. Okay, no, it's not like that. And that charges should be go there, the same ledger. Okay. If there will be more charges, like your extra charges also you are applying, you can apply more ledgers where the charges need to be go. So the banking ledger is 5 pound. It will go to the charge expected account would be 53. So your account will be maintained there. What happened? Pull out requirement entry fields. Okay. Let's save which two gem ledgers. There is only one option. It has also not linked, I believe. All required entry fields. Reverse accounts. So I just randomly put the ledgers, but whenever you define the ledger for which return types, what would be the banking ledger, from here, how much charges expected by which ledger, like bank charges or default charges, and then it will be collected to that ledger. That means the posting again back to the utility company ledger. So the open items would be there. So I'm trying, whenever this configuration will happen, finally you need to do the correspondence to this. Later, the letter should be in smart forms. So we can define the smart form names and the company code against them. Okay. And you can take the help of the developer to develop these application forms, these smart forms, then you can allocate them. So whenever there will be written auto-generated emails or auto-generated letters will be go to the customer. Okay. Others you can explore by your own. Any questions? I have only explained the basics. If you have any questions, you can ask.